Hello, and I'm reading Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones. And this is the other part to the story. It's called Maybe You Remember. How the story ends. What happened to Rosemary's mother? When the hotel doctor saw Mrs. Gibbs, he knew at once that she was about to die. She had a form of the plague, a dread disease that killed quickly and caused frightening epidemics. If the word got out a woman had died of the plague in the heart of Paris, there would be panic. People in the hotel and elsewhere would rush to escape. The doctor knew what the hotel owners expected. He was to keep the case a secret. Otherwise, they would lose lots and lots of money. To get Rosemary out of the way, the doctor sent her to the other side of Paris for some worthless medicine. As he expected, Mrs. Gibbs died soon after she left. Her body was smuggled out of the hotel to a cemetery, where it was buried. A team of workmen quickly repainted the room and replaced everything in it. The desk clerks were ordered to tell Rosemary that she was in the wrong hotel. When she insisted on seeing her room, it had become a different place, and of course her mother had vanished. All those involved were warned that they would lose their jobs if they gave away the secret. To avoid panic in the city, the police and the newspapers agreed to say nothing of the death. No police reports were filed. No news stories appeared. It was as if Rosemary's mother and her room had never existed. In another version of the story, Rosemary and her mother had separate rooms. Mrs. Gibbs died during the night while Rosemary was asleep. Her body was removed and her room was repainted and refurnished. When Rosemary could not find her mother the next morning, she was told that her mother was not with her when she checked in. After many months of searching, a friend and a relative or the young woman herself finds someone who works in the hotel and for a bribe reveals what happened. So, yeah. Okay, so now we're going back. And we're going to the next story, if I can find it. All right, this one's called The Red Spot. The red spot. While Ruth slept, a spider crawled across her face. Ew. It stopped for several minutes on her left cheek, then went on its way. "What is the red spot on my cheek?" she asked her mother the next morning. "Well, it looks like a spider bite," her mother said. "It will go away. Just don't scratch it." Soon the small spot started to grow into a small red boil. "Look at it now," Ruth said. "It's getting bigger. It's sore." "That sometimes happens," her mother said. "It's coming to a head." In a few days, the boil was even larger. "Look at it now," Ruth said. "It hurts and it's ugly." "Well, we'll have the doctor look at it," her mother said. "Maybe it's infected." But the doctor could not see Ruth until the next day. That night, Ruth took a hot bath. As she soaped herself, the boil burst. Out poured a swarm of tiny spiders from the eggs their mother had laid in her cheek. Gross. I can't stand a freaking spider. Look at them nasty spiders. Nasty rotten things. Can't stand them. Okay. This one's called No Thanks. Thursday nights, Jim worked as a stock boy in one of the malls out on the highway. By 8:30, he was usually finished and he drove home. But that night, Jim was one of the last to leave. By the time he got out to the huge parking lot, it was almost empty. The only sounds were cars in the distance and his footsteps on the pavement. Suddenly a man stepped out of the shadows. "Hey, mister," he called in a low voice. He held out his right hand. Balanced on the palm was the long, thin blade of a knife. Jim stopped. "Nice, sharp knife," the man said softly. "Don't panic," Jim thought. The man stepped toward him. "Don't run," Jim told himself. "Nice sharp knife," the man repeated. Give him what he wants, Jim thought. The man came closer. He held the knife up. Cuts nice and easy, he said slowly. Jim waited. The man peered into his face. Hey, man, only $3. 2 for $5. Nice present for your mama. No thanks, Jim said. She's got one. And he ran for his car. Okay, and I will be continuing more stories.